Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Sounds of the Diaspora, artist to artist, conversation with yours truly, Dion Parson. I'd like to say shout out to our folks in Connecticut by way of New York as we welcome our special guest tonight, gentleman that got to know over the last couple of years. He's doing wonderful things musically. I'm a huge fan, and every time I get to New York, I try to check him out wherever he's playing. Join me as I bring two Sounds of the Diaspora, bassist, composer, educator, band leader, and producer, Mr. Jonathan Michel.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, it's a pleasure for you to join us. I know you've been busy. We've been trying to make this happen for a while, and now it's happening. Excited.
Here we are, baby. Here we are. Awesome.
Yes, sir. So you're in New York City, right?
Yeah, I'm in town. I'm here for the next little while. I'm here through the end of the month of May, I think. I got a couple weekends in and out, but no touring for the next couple weeks. Okay.
And you enjoy living in New York now?
You know what, man? I do enjoy living in New York. It can sometimes be tough, being a bit overstimulating at times, you know.
Okay.
You know, being out, you know, being part of the sort of the fabric of what makes the city go, and also having to live there. You know, it can get a little overwhelming, but I think I'm so excited and so inspired every day by the artists and inspired by the art and the creative energy that's here that I do enjoy being here.
Right. And anytime you get homesick, you just like head up the street to Connecticut, and
I don't have to go too far to go feel like home a little bit, you know.
Right. Tell us about home, because you have a really strong Afro-Caribbean, you know, background with your family's coming from Haiti.
I do, yeah. So my parents immigrated to this country from Haiti, from Ayiti, when they were both still single, and they got married here in the States. They got married in Brooklyn, New York, in Fort Greene. And after a few years of their early marriage, they spent some time in Connecticut. Then they spent some time in New York, and then they moved to Haiti for a couple of years. And then when they had my older sister in Haiti. And then when they came back here, they moved to Connecticut, to Waterbury, Connecticut. That's my hometown. And that's where I was born and raised. I stayed there until I left to move to Philadelphia and start my career.
Beautiful. And Connecticut has a really solid, strong music scene.
It does, man. It does. There's a few different things happening there. There's a very strong jazz presence. Thanks to our ancestor Jackie McLean, who not only started the Institute at the Hart School, but he also started he and his wife, I believe her name is Dolly, they started the Artist Collective in Hartford, which really, I didn't attend the Artist Collective, but I'm still influenced by it. My good friends like Desron Douglas and Lucas Curtis, two bass players who really helped me early on in my, when I say early on, I'm talking about teenage years, helped me to understand that, like, playing bass was something that, we could do, and we could really, they helped me, because I was an electric bass player at first, so they helped me to understand upright bass and with that, how that related and all that. So just that way, in Hartford. And then, the Powell family is huge in the gospel world. And then myself, I grew up going to a French and Haitian Creole speaking church. And so there's a whole community of musicians around there. Like my first teachers were musicians who were professional musicians on the compas side, on that side of the music, who had immigrated to the States and now were working other jobs, or maybe they were playing still. But that was like my early influence in terms of being around musicians. So yeah, it was all over the place. And then of course school, I had a great public school system program early on. And and so that really helped me to get my reading together and all of that.
Great. I mean, it's just so good to even though you didn't grow up in the Caribbean, to have that culture around you. I spent some time when I first moved to New York. I have two sisters that live in Connecticut, so I spent a lot of time up there checking out the concert series in Hartford and checking out what J Mac was doing and the collective. So I was fortunate to, be on the outskirt of that and getting some of that as well. So I know exactly what you're talking about. It was a very rich scene.
Really, really, very much so, man. Because even, I ended up going to college at a state school that's about, 15, 20 minutes away from University of Hartford. So as I started to, check out jam sessions and stuff, it was going towards that part of the state that I got to, meet other musicians, other bass players, other things. Started to pick up some gigs here and there, started to get into the network from being around Hartford and the, Steve Davis used to have this jam session that I would go to, a weekly jam session, just different things like that were happening as a result of what J-Mac started.
Right, and that's like really an extension of what was going on in New York, because J-Mac was a prominent figure on the scene in New York, so he came up with that, so he just built that network up there. So it's really to have that, you have the education platform, you have the church platform, you have the family, cultural component, and you can go out and check yourself out and present yourself in a jam session setting where cats would be checking y'all in a good way and in a bad way. Like, that was one ground to really check your skills out. Before you came to New York, I knew who you were, and I never met you. And every time I would see your name, I was like, I got to go hear this cat. Because, you build a reputation, and rightfully so, you're doing great things. So you eventually went to college, did all of that stuff, moved to New York. And I know you said you started off an electric bass, but when did you decide? I know you still play the electric bass, but when did you decide the upright was going to be your main instrument, and you decided to just focus on, put the attention into that?
I guess it would be after. It was probably like my third year of school, and I finally felt like I could play the upright bass. Like I finally felt like I could, get around the instrument like a bass.
Right.
Because before that, I was studying. I had two really great classical teachers, and I was just trying to get my left hand, to stay and get the sound right with my right hand. But somewhere around, my second summer, and I was like really I just wanted to get around some tunes and get around some things with the instrument. And so then I was like, okay, let me really put the electric bass down for a second. There was an electric bass program at my school, so I wasn't really getting better at that, but I think I always had sort of a thought that was my instrument.
The upright.
No, the electric was.
Well, the electric was the instrument.
Electric was. But then when I was in this sort of transitional process, and I mean, some of my teachers at the time were like Dave Santoro and John Benitez and Mario Pavone, all these people who were actually really great with telling me they weren't like, you have to play upright, don't pick up the electric. They were really great with telling me, use your electric knowledge to get better at the upright.
Right.
And lo and behold, I just found myself like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. So then at that point, I was like, well, if I'm an upright bass player, there's not enough opportunity around here in Connecticut for me to do that,
Right.
So, and then I kind of looked at where I wanted to move to, and I said, well, I don't think I can afford New York yet just playing bass. So I moved to Philadelphia, which was a place that I was always attracted to Philly. The music of Philadelphia was always attractive to me. I mean, even coming up, listening to hip hop, I was drawn to the roots, even though I was listening to New York hip hop and all sorts of different things, but the roots were something I was drawn to. Listening to music, Christian McBride was a big hero. The Blakey bands with Reggie Workman was a huge influence on my sound. Jimmy Garrison, so like I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to Philly, see what's up, figure out if I can learn to play some bass, learn to be part of the culture, because I could play fast. I could definitely play fast always, but I didn't have a sound yet. I definitely knew that I didn't know how to show up and play a concert with people. Okay. Even though I'd been in college, and they say that's, but I knew in my heart.
Right. You have to feel it. It's a feeling.
Like if musician X calls me, I'm not ready. You know what I mean? So how am I going to do that for myself? So I moved to Philly, and I lived in Philly from 2005 until just about 2007. The last 2 years 2012. So the last 2.5 years, I was splitting my time between New York and Philly.
Okay.
And then by 2013, I was in New York full time.
Okay, so when you were in Philly, you did like the Ort Leaves Hang and all of that.
Yeah, man, I did the Ort Leaves Hang. When I got there, the Ort Leaves was the original Ort Leaves, had about 2 years left, and then the new place opened about a year later. So I was so I got to catch a really good part of that. Ort Leaves was a huge part of my development. People like Bootsy Barnes and Sam Dockery and Mickey Roker and Nina Bundy, all these people that, like, I don't even know why they called me for the gig. They obviously had other people to call, but they felt that they wanted to pour into my development, Right. And let alone, the places that I really learned how to play in Philly, though, were the places that were not venues, and you had to bring an amp and you had to bring your bass. But it was a neighborhood spot, and they knew their records. They knew who you were, who the people were you were playing with, and they were invested. They were coming out to hear that, they talk about audience, one of the things that people talk about is audience development, you know what I mean? But like the Philadelphia audience kind of developed me in many ways. I learned how to play for people. I learned how to, like, the difference between playing, a song like Take the A Train or the blues, as opposed to playing an original composition.
Right.
And knowing the various settings to do that in.
Right.
And knowing that, like, actually you can play all three of those songs throughout the course of any night if you do it the right way.
If you do it the right way, yeah.
So like I learned that from living in Philadelphia.
Yeah, programming is important.
It's very important. And there are many lessons to learn there. I also, like, the first time I ever went on the road was in Philly. A lot of my firsts happened in my career in Philadelphia before I moved to New York.
That's great. I mean, it's a rich environment, and like you mentioned, there's a lot of great musicians came out of Philly. What you're saying? I went to Rutgers, so I was between Philly and New York. So we would get in the
best of both worlds.
Our money together, and we're gonna go hang at Ord Leaves tonight and make that trip, and find your way to get on the bandstand and do your thing and make your right. So it's a process, and it lends to. I try to tell the younger generation now as I'm teaching, because a lot of those opportunities don't exist. But it's a process. It's not so much getting on bandstand and nailing the song or playing fast or doing a great solo. It's the process, because like the Mickey Rokers and the Bootsy Barnes, all of these cats see you come to town and they watch you go through this process. And that's what they support, because they see what you're made of. And they hear you develop. So they're part of that. Like you say, the audience is part of that experience. And these older musicians, the apprenticeship. I remember Taylor telling me when he moved back from France, he sat me down. He's like, young man, what you guys are missing is the apprenticeship. When we came up, we were assigned a band. The musician assigned us, hey, you go play with this guy for 2 years, get this together. When you get together, then you could go over here and play with this cat. And that's how the musicians talked with each other. And that's how I learned that there's a process. And that's what you went through, a process, because your journey was something that everybody experienced. And they were part of it. And
for sure.
You can hear it in how you present yourself, your programming, all of those things. And man, it's a relief to hear you saying those things. You consciously thought of your position in all of this.
Yeah. I think for me, I love the part that the bass plays in the band.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to do that the right way. I wanted for it to sound as if there's a bass player on the gig. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, oh, you sound like a bass player. Sometimes I say that to people. They're like, what do you mean? I said, well, I mean, you played a root when you were supposed to play a root. That's not an easy thing to do all the time.
Right.
You played a quarter note root when you were supposed to. That takes a certain kind of thing that has to come intrinsically, and whatever a university system puts into you or a scholastic system puts into you, it only gets you part of the way.
Right.
The rest of it is actually knowing how that lands on people.
Right.
Like being able to see your quarter note on a root land with somebody and they cry, or they dance, or they walk out in anger. Either way, like having that, being able to experience that either through apprenticeship or through the fire, which is always difficult, is important. And it was something that I wanted. And I think going back to the cultural thing, because of the way I came up, I think I was able to seek it that way.
Right.
I definitely came up I tell people that when you got to I grew up, my family was the first Black family to move on our block,
Okay.
But when you got into our driveway, I say that you were in Haiti and Haitian rules applied.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's like, sit down, be quiet, listen.
Right.
This is your chore. You are not getting paid.
Right. And the West Indian rules are definitely.
Yes. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful because it allowed me to be able to listen to elders, to seek out and to listen to elders. I never have a problem just sitting there and listening. Even if it's rambling, I'm fine.
Because you can learn what to do or what not to do. That's lessons I heard from my father. He's like, man, you're gonna learn something. Pay attention, and you learn. Hopefully, you learn what to do if the person is on point. If they're not on point, then you learn what not to do.
Right, learn what not to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you go test it. Go test it for yourself and make sure it works or doesn't work for you. Even if you learn what to do, it may not work for you. So that's the other thing. That's the other thing. But the other thing that I appreciate about you too is your commitment to your roots, your foundation. So as you play and you develop and this is all of us from the Afro-Caribbean diaspora, we have a hunger and an urge to learn, swing and the elements of jazz and the historic components, but we see and feel the connection because coming from the Caribbean, those rhythms and elements pass through us first. So there's a learning process that we have, and I enjoy that, man. So when you're around your yardies, your homeboys, you make things. It's a little different than if you out on the road doing a gig with somebody from New York, and it makes things differently. So. Talk about that experience, the cultural experience, and bringing that to the table.
Yeah, for me, I think that at some point in time, I started to literally hear the cross rhythms between Haitian music and New Orleans music.
Okay.
I think that's where it started for me.
Okay.
Because for me, straight ahead music, that's what we'll call, or the music of the Black America, black music in the United States, that there was always a connection. But I've been listening to pop music, I've been listening to radio, so there is an Americanness to me. Yeah.
Right.
And then there's a very clear, Haitian development in my playing, through playing in church and playing culturally and learning that dance music. But at some point in like my early professional development, I started to hear how that connected. And in doing that, just going down that rabbit hole until I was like, oh, this is why I get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like it's not just a connection. It's like, oh, I get this because of my culture. So then it's all about connection now. Now it's like, well, if I can get it, so then somebody can learn my music if they know this music. Somebody can learn my culture if they understand this culture. So now, as I'm developing in the world of Black American music, in the world of Black music, Black popular music, well, what's my voice? Why am I here? Oh, because I'm a 6'5" Black man, son of Haitian immigrants from Connecticut. What's that story? Oh, that story swings, and it has a little deux, and it understands reggae, and it understands the blues. Right. So in my presentation as an artist, in my presentation as a producer, it's like, well, I mean, that's all I can talk about.
Right.
This is the only thing I'm an expert on. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it comes from. It's like, man, I want to talk about something that I know about, something that I'm passionate about, something that promotes connection, and this is it. And there's also a need. I think that's the last part. Right. There's a need with the various narratives that there are about Haiti specifically. It's really important for me, to myself, and I think to my culture, but I can only really speak to myself wholeheartedly. It's important for me that when you get a representation of Ayiti, you get a representation of Haiti, it is a true representation, which is people, which is art. If you want to have a conversation about politics, we certainly can, but my first goal is not about politics, it's about people. It's about connection. Right. It's about the culture and the art. And so I lead with that. And that's a joyful thing, So I'm excited about it, and I try to bring that across to the folks.
And you've been doing a great job at it. Trust me. It's coming across, and it's great.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm enjoying, because coming from the Caribbean, most people think Caribbean music is party music, is calypso, feeling hot. It's only about alcohol. And what I'm seeing now and experiencing, I lived in New York for 30 years, and now that I'm back in St. Thomas, I go back to New York on a regular basis. But what I'm seeing and experiencing is so many young men, young women, young men, musicians, talented musicians from the Afro-Caribbean diaspora living in New York or living in the States that are playing, the culture of their country on a very high level. And because the blues is everywhere. If you listen to calypso, 145 is in there. If you listen to calypso, boom, 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 ding, boom. It's a blues scale. It's all the elements are there culturally. We just call them different things. We have different names and different rhythms for them. But what I'm seeing is this really great creative elevation of talent that's coming out of the Caribbean, and everybody is embracing that culture and presenting. Like you said, you could play the A Train on one level and then turn around and play a Mighty Sparrow song or a Lord Kitchener song on the next, and have all of the elements of a jazz tune, where you have the melody, harmonies, solo, maiden fours, trade bass, whatever. And I'm embracing that, because when I got to New York in 1990, that didn't exist.
Sure, I could only imagine.
Now, and it's so good to see that, and that's one of the things that I've appreciate when I go to hear you and then heard you perform. Again, programming, because you bring those elements on a very high level, but you still represent your culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime, man. It's a beautiful thing. That being said, I want to talk about this original composition that you have brought forth.
Sure.
Elysian Suite. Tell us about
it. Yes. So the Elysian Suite, the Elysian Suite, the title is a reference to Greek mythology, to the Elysian Fields. And the Elysian Fields is where mortals go to spend their life, to spend eternity after they've died. You know, so they're like, they can't hang with the gods because they're not gods, but they lived a good life, and so they get to be in the Elysian Fields. But the story behind that suite is it actually came together after the earthquake that happened in Haiti. Was it 12 years ago now? Something like that. There was a massive earthquake and a lot of loss of life and a lot of tragedy. And while growing up, there had been a lot of different things happening in Haiti and various media coverages of that. But for me, maybe because of where I was in life, but I felt like the media coverage was very much about the suffering that was happening and about the loss, but not necessarily about the people, not necessarily about like recovery and rebuilding, and definitely not about the individual life that was lost. It was headline grabbing things, and it was hard for me to watch that because for me, like I'm trying to find out if like my family's alive,
right?
And it was just and then there was like this huge push for donations for people to help, to send in money, and it all felt very disingenuous. And so I decided to write this suite that was about the people experience of the earthquake. And so what the suite is made up of 4 different sections. One of them it starts out with a drum solo, which represents the earthquake. And each section is the story of an individual arriving at the Elysian Fields after the earthquake in Haiti. And different each person tells their story. In my mind, I sometimes I'll think one of the sections, I guess I'll get to each section and what the story is when we get there.
Okay.
But each section is a story of a Haitian, a Haitian character, a type of Haitian that I know that we all know that might have lost their life in that moment. And at the end of the suite, when it all comes together, there is a moment of rejoicing as we've come together and we're in this place where we've heard each other's stories and we are all connected again. So I guess we're celebrating connection one more time. So I think that's a good place to start. What you'll hear first is this group is Obed Calvaire, and this is my group, Jonathan Michel Louverture. Louverture is a reference to Toussaint Louverture, the leader of the Haitian Revolution, but also the word Louverture in French means opening, and we hope to provide an opening to folks to connect with Haitian culture and to, if they're actually from Haiti, they can, feel a piece of home. If they're not from Haiti, they can see what home feels like. So this is Obed Calvaire with his opening solo, and the rest of the band is William Delisford, Melanie Charles, Godwin Louis.
Let's check it out.
Yeah.
Part 1.
Cut it off, baby.
Earthquake drum solo. So that sets the tone for the rest of the suite.
Yeah, that sets the tone for the rest of the suite. So the idea is, so this earthquake happened, and the theme is the aftermath, the people aftermath. You know, you're hearing cries, you're hearing buildings, people are searching. You know, there's a level of confusion and unrest that's happening. Yeah. Should I talk about the next section now?
Please.
Yes. Yeah. So the next section, so basically what you hear is you'll hear each musician start solo, and then the band will join. And the idea is, well, you know, this person showed up, you know, and they're like, well, yeah, man, I passed in the earthquake too, but I am from XYZ, and my mom is from here, and this is what happened. I was on my way to this, and so imagine that is what is being presented, and then when the band comes in, it's like, oh, I feel that with you.
Okay.
You know? And each so that's going to happen each time. This storyteller, you know, I'd actually love to hear your perspective on what this person looks like to you after you've heard this.
Okay, let's check it out. Yeah. Part 2.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that groove.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you. You
Yeah.
know, it's the coming from John Coltrane's Equinox.
Okay.
I was thinking about in my sort of compositional process with this. I was thinking about melody, but I was thinking also about form and like groove informing, like completely informing the improvisation in some of these sections. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like there's no melody in that section. The melody is the blues form. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so you get to sort of improvise around that in that way. You know what I'm saying? There's no melody to be stated. We just go right into this blues thing that's very specific, and the groove is very specific. And like every time you hear the suite, it's always going to be that groove with those changes. You know what I mean? In that tempo.
Right.
Like that's the melody of the song, is that part of it. That's the framework, So it was really cool. And of course, Melanie, ever since I wrote this song, she's been one of its biggest fans. So it's always great to have her play on it. And she always plays really great stuff.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. When she first started soloing, it sounds like it was like a young girl coming up telling like their story. Like, I just came out of this chaos over here. But when the groove started, it was so mature and late. That girl kind of transformed into an older, female elder. That's what I felt. Yeah.
That's what we're feeling. Yeah. I get the elder element too. But there is a wonder. There is that energy at the beginning of that, right? That like gives like a youth. Yeah, I could do that.
Beautiful. I like that. I like the concept. What this reminds me of, and I'm gonna just say this real quick and we'll move forward. Like, we had Donald Harrison on the show, and Donald came with one song, but he played it in like 4 or 5 different genres. He played the song straight ahead, then he played it as a bossa, then he played it as a bossa nova, then he had a hip hop version of it, and the song is the same melody, but it was just different all the time. I'm getting this similar vibe of this suite. Like you said, the blues changes and the groove is the melody. That's the tone, but you have these different stories being laid down on top of it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I like that. Cool, man. Let's check out part 3.
Yeah, part 3. Part 3 is kind of fun. Part 3 is inspired by Kenny Kirkland in a way.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's check it out.
Some stuff.
Say again.
I love it.
Man. Yeah, man.
Kirkland, huh? Inspired by him.
Yeah, man. So there's something I've spent a lot of time with the Kenny Kirkland album in my very over the years. I'll probably come back to it once a year for a couple of weeks just to make my way through and try to figure out what he was doing way back then, and maybe I could figure out 3 or 4 measures. But there's something about the way that he can make sort of adjoining harmonies sound different. You know what I mean? Whereas like in this song, it's not get too technical, but it's like a F major 7 sharp 11 sound, and the very next chord is a diminished. You know what I'm saying? So like we're close here, and it's kind of crunchy, but like there's a difference to be made. And then that section of the song is always for the piano player.
Right.
And it's always interesting to see how they all take their own path around this thing. Willem, I don't think he played it the same way in the first set. Like it seems to me to be friendly enough for piano players, and which is why I say I have Kenny in mind, because everybody's kind of got their own sort of way that they make the way around. But every once in a while, everybody would hit a little McCoy. Everyone's there are a couple things that it lends itself to, right? Right. But then how they get there, and then with the sort of bit ba is something that they can kind of get into too rhythmically, because and so it's really, that's where the Kenny Kirkland inspiration comes from for that section. Definitely in that time, Kenny was a huge influence on my ears.
And a lot of people too. He brought a whole nother dynamic, rhythmically and harmonically. Yeah. Beautiful
Absolutely.
stuff. Yeah, I enjoy that. I enjoy that. So let's continue, because we have part 4 of the Elysian Suite.
Yes. So part 4 of the Elysian Suite is going to be it's going to start out the same way with a solo interpretation of a story. It's going to be like myself playing, and then the band will join, and then another character will join us. And I like to say that this is like the St. Peter character who comes in, and he's like, "Hey y'all, like we're here together. I know we just went through some tragedy, but we're celebrating our culture. We're celebrating being here together." And so you'll hear the theme one more time, and just a little bit of a different way.
Okay, check it out. Part 4.
up here doing this all day. Please put your hands together for Obed Calver. Obed Calver.
Man, it's really funny. So that's I kind of forgot that went like that.
Mm.
Usually, it usually happens the way I said, but I don't know what happened that set. But I think before that, we decided to improvise together. And so the storytelling element was like two friends,
nice,
coming up and telling the story, you know.
Right.
But then we went into this space where we started playing these cherished Haitian melodies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we played Shukun, and we played Godwin played a couple of other things. And to me, there's one thing that I know for sure that Haitians love to do is to talk about the beauty of their country and the beauty of their music, you know. And one of the words that always stands out to me in my mind in Haitian Creole is the word fierté, which is pride, you know. Pride. And so you would say, Haitians say, "nous fiers de pays, nous," and you just you feel this pride. You feel that pride in the word, and that's one of the ways that they do it. They sing the beautiful songs and do this thing. So I'm imagining these two Haitian guys, just being just so forward and aggressive about how beautiful their country is and how you just can't mess with them, you know. And they're just having a great time, and they just get everybody else charged up about that feeling, you know, because we're coming to this place. We're from an earthquake, from destruction, from loss, you know. And then to be oh no, that's right, our country is beautiful. This is our thing. So that's kind of as I'm watching it, I'm oh right, these band members, they know the story of the song, so they even get to, every time they play it, they do bring these various elements to it. And I think that was Godwin's idea in the green room before the second set. That was the second set at Disney's. He's hey, man, what do you think? What do you think if we do it like this? Okay, yeah, sure. You know, right. And that was it. That's all we talked about.
It works, and it's effective because one of our listeners just said wonderful composition and explanations that you are providing sets it up so perfectly. So it's effective. It's effective. You know, we had another listener said awesome music, and somebody was somebody else is asking if you know Raymond Earl.
I don't.
Raymond Earl?
No, I'm not hip. I'm not hip at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I did.
Yeah. And saying thanks for another great program, Dion, and feature such a talented artist. Yeah, great music, man. And like I said, from a fundamental cultural standpoint, the elements are there, but from an intellectual level, it's all of those elements are there also. I mean, someone can go off for a beautiful evening with their significant other and come and hear you play and be fully entertained with their culture, but it don't have to be a party setting where everybody's drinking and you know what I'm saying. And that's what I like. That's what I'm really enjoying. What I'm noticing of artists coming from the Afro-Caribbean diaspora now, they bring in another intellect to the culture. It's so beautiful. I'm enjoying it, man, and you're doing a great job. Yes.
Thank you, man. But I have to say though, you know, folks like you, folks like Ruben and Ron and Andrew Surreal, you know what I mean? All these you cats who, you know, had to, like you said, you were the first. Here I am, you know, last year I got to play a bunch of Disney's with Caribbean themed projects, but you had to go, you went through it. And for that, I'm grateful because there was something. I didn't have to bring an idea. They could see the proof of concept. They could see the ticket sales. You know what I'm saying? Let's keeping it frank. You know what I mean? They could, you know, there's something out there because you cats took the chances of leaving your homes to come to New York to bring this thing, because Caribbean music is in New York for sure. But with these various levels that takes a chance. You have to take a chance. You could have very easily played calypso music your whole life and been completely in demand and never had worried about it. But the chances that you took to bring yourself to New York, to get the Spangalang, to bring it together, I'm grateful for that, man. I have to say.
Well, that saying, each one teach one is a powerful, and I think that's what we bring to the table, because we're all learning from each other and we have something to say, and we're doing the right things to represent, even though you're from Haiti and I'm from the Virgin Islands and somebody's maybe from Puerto Rico, but we're doing the right things to represent the greater diaspora, Afro-Caribbean diaspora, and we're doing our part to bring it to the table. And I've been fortunate to play with so many wonderful musicians that have respected my culture, and within their platform have said, "Hey, D, why don't you do this and bring this to the table?" And that's what gave me the courage to take those chances, because I've had the John Faddises and the Steve Terrays and the Monty Alexanders and the Ernest Ranglins and the Mill Jacksons and all of those wonderful folks, the Elio Villafranca, all those folks that I've worked with for numerous years, be as supportive and encourage. I remember being in college and Frank Lacey came to me one day, knocked on my practice room door, and I was practicing, trying to do all this Elvin stuff and everything. And he knocked on the door, and I opened up the door, and he said, "Hey, brother man from the Caribbean, I just want to let you know you sound good, man, but don't forget your roots. Don't forget where you came from. Find a way to include that in what you're doing, and you'll have your own sound." That's what he told me when I was in college trying to figure it out. And that stuck. That stuck. And I see all of those elements in the things that you're doing. So for that, I'm enjoying it, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm enjoying it, man. We're almost out of time, but do you have any projects or anything you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, of course, man. Along these same lines, I've just joined Imani Michel's band. Imani Michel is a wonderful Haitian vocalist.
Okay.
I play with Melanie Charles, another Haitian vocalist. My own things, I'm curating a series at 333 Lounge in Brooklyn on Wednesday nights, bringing in some various music things. It's called Jonathan Michel Presents the Fire. It's inspired by Jerry Allen and her song Feed the Fire.
Feed the Fire.
The whole thing. Yes, sir. So we're there. We'll be there every Wednesday in April. The new record is getting recorded next month. That one's also going to be produced by Orrin Evans, coming out on Imani Records. What else is happening, man? Just trying to get better every day. Practicing, and I'll be doing some. I have a short tour on the West Coast, in the west of the country in June 1st, 2nd, and 4th. Tucson, San Diego, and LA. So just please do stay tuned. Reach out to me, send me an email, or you find me on Instagram. And I'd love to connect. And wherever I am playing music, know that we are there. Especially if it's my call, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna share. There's gonna be culture involved. It's gonna be blackness some way or another. And we're going to have a good time for sure. So please do come out.
Sounds good. Well, it's a pleasure having you here, Jonathan.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But it's been worth the wait, man. Thank you for
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing, and continued success to you and your all of your colleagues and all the folks that you're playing with, man. Everybody's doing a great job, and I look forward to seeing you back in the city when I get there. And we have some folks listening that say that their parents are Haitian also, so they're really
Haitian.
Yes. So we look forward to having you back when your project comes out. Sure. When you finish recording, let us know. We'll definitely have you back and bring that music as well. So take care, Jonathan.
All right, thanks, man.
Peace. All the best. Peace. That was Jonathan Michel. Wonderful, talented young man. I'm excited to let you guys know. Join us next week as we bring to the sound of the diaspora master musician, Mr. Paquito de Rivera. We look forward to having him on board next week and bringing his variety of music to the show, and his knowledge, wisdom, stories. He have a lot of stories, and I look forward to having him. Thank you for joining us at Sounds of the Diaspora. Take care. Have a blessed evening.
JBH Boutique Care offers you a unique exclusive membership in our nationwide concierge medical services network. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Judine Bontemps-Hill. I'm double board certified in family and obesity medicine. We pair exclusive personalized care with accessibility and convenience. A better way for you to receive immediate quality medical care. Whether at our main Orlando, Florida office, traveling across the U.S. or visiting the States, we bring you the best medical care without waiting for an appointment. Become a member today by calling 407-234-5282 or visit us online at jdhmeg1.com. JBH Boutique Care is proud to sponsor Sounds of the Diaspora, music and conversations with artists, and host Dion Parson every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Source TV Radio Network, WTSN, Washington, D.C.